In the darkness of a quiet little town, a young girl knelt by her bedside, whispering a prayer into the silence of the night. Suddenly, she heard a familiar voice calling her name from outside the window. It was her grandmother. The child rushed to the curtains and pulled them aside, and there she was, the woman she loved most, shivering in the night air. Her grandmother's voice was soft but strange. "Let me in. I'm so cold." The little girl, innocent and unafraid, was about to open the window. But just as her small fingers touched the latch, her mother stormed in, screaming for her to stop. By then, it was already too late. The next day, the girl's father staggered home, drunk as usual. He was shocked to see a crowd gathered outside his house. At first, he thought it was a party. But his illusion shattered when Officer Stephen stepped out, his face dark with fury. Without warning, Stephen slapped the drunken man and dragged him upstairs. What he saw inside would haunt him forever. His wife lay lifeless by the bedside, her body mangled. Beside her, the daughter he had failed to protect. Her organs had been torn out. The husband collapsed in horror, sobered instantly by regret. Stephen raised his gun, tempted to end his misery right there. But pity held him back. Instead, he ordered the man to be imprisoned until trial, while the funeral was left in the priest's care. This was no ordinary town. Each evening, when the sun began to sink, Stephen would walk the streets ringing a large bell. At its sound, villagers ran into their homes, shut their doors, and placed a small black stone at the entrance. Why? Because when night fell, the monsters came. Horrifying, flesh-eating creatures, wearing the voices and faces of dead loved ones, lurking outside windows, luring victims into their grasp. Only the black stones kept them at bay. The drunken man's family had perished because he was too careless to protect them. Now, he would face the harshest punishment of all, to spend one night in the iron house, a cage with no black stone to shield him. Stephen's heart ached with conflict. He begged the priest to show mercy, but the priest refused. If the man was spared, the town would lose its discipline, and fear was the only thing keeping them alive. Unable to save him, Stephen slipped the prisoner a black stone in secret. But the man, drowning in guilt and grief, rejected it. He no longer wanted to live. When night fell, he entered the iron house. Alone, trembling, he heard laughter outside. Then, he saw his wife and his daughter, calling him sweetly, beckoning him to open the door. His resolve crumbled into sobs. And then, the monsters tore the iron house apart. By morning, nothing remained. The funeral had barely ended when a strange car rolled into town. Inside was a family of four: Jim, his wife, and their two children. They stopped, confused by the eerie silence and the strange stares of the villagers. Jim approached Stephen, asking for directions back to the highway. Stephen froze. His face twisted with hesitation before he forced a smile and told Jim simply to keep driving straight. But no matter how far they drove, they returned to the same village again and again, trapped in a nightmarish loop. Soon after, tragedy struck. Their car collided with another vehicle, leaving Jim's son Ethan pinned with a metal bar through his leg. Dusk was approaching. The monsters would soon arrive. Stephen and Nurse Christie stayed behind to perform surgery inside the wrecked car. Outside, shadows gathered. Familiar voices whispered. The monsters were here. Stephen placed a black stone by the door and warned Jim, "No matter what you hear, do not open it." That night was